everyone, this is Demari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be doing the weekly tarot reading for the sign of Leo. Please keep in mind it is a general reading, so it may not apply to each and every one of you. However, you can take a look at this week's reading in regards to your Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus signs. So do take a look at your natal chart, see the corresponding zodiac signs, and see which video's title resonates for you most. Now, things are changing a little bit on the channel. So instead of doing the general readings on a monthly basis, I'll be now doing it weekly, okay? And the shadow work readings will now be on a monthly basis, so I've swapped that around. Hopefully you will find this enjoyable and useful. I've also changed the spread. I'm using a custom spread. I've retired to the Celtic Cross for the meantime. So what I'll be doing is pulling one card from each of these 3 oracle decks for this week's reading. So we'll start firstly by getting the overall theme of the week and the key energies using the Quantum Oracle. We'll then pull a card from the Work Your Light deck as guidance from the Divine. And then we'll also pull a card from the Divine Feminine Oracle, where it really taps into the Sacred Feminine and see what messages of support and additional guidance can be provided from within. Okay, and then we'll also get some tarot messages using the Intuitive Tarot, clarifying further with the Waite deck. So, Leo, let's go into your reading. So just while I shuffle your cards again, I want to say a quick thank you to everyone who's been liking, commenting, subscribing, and even sharing my videos. It means a lot to have your continued support, so thank you so much for being a part of this community. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you're informed of when your next set of readings goes up on the channel. If you'd like a personal reading with myself, you can find the information in the description box below. Alright, so the card you got from the Quantum Oracle, Leo, is Dark Thoughts. Okay, Dark Thoughts. So, yeah, I feel like you're still very much sometimes getting caught up in overthinking. Okay, getting caught up in the maze of your own mind. And with that, there could be certain repetitive thoughts that you keep coming back to that you know isn't going to yield anything positive. It just brings you back to square one, right? And you go through the same process again. So there is still a need to address what this thought pattern is and what is it specifically that keeps bringing you into this pattern, because there may be certain triggers for you. Okay, so if that's the case, I do recommend taking some time out to really take a closer look at that, okay, because it's something that is repetitive. So let's see what advice we can give you from the Divine that can help you break out of that pattern and really start to look at things, view things, and have more, from a more positive standpoint, and also have a generally more positive outlook on life and thought process. Okay, so we have breaking the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So there may be a narrative that you keep repeating to yourself over and over, that this is my life, this is how things are, things will never change, this is how it's been always in my family, these are the kind of struggles we've always had, or this is the addictions we have, or this is our way of doing things, okay? Doesn't have to be. You can break that, okay? This coming up shows that you are in a position where you yourself can break ancestral karma, right? And therefore heal those wounds that have been carried throughout generations. This is going to change how things progress moving forward, not only for yourself, but for future generations to come. So very, 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 very key here, okay? When it comes to breaking out of this cycle as well. Can't stress that enough. So I feel like it does fall back into certain patterns that you are witnessing when it comes to family connections, but it also goes beyond your immediate family. It goes way back. It's generational upon, it's like generation upon generation are just further perpetuating these same patterns, okay? But it's your opportunity here and now to break those patterns that are detrimental. Interesting. So I just pulled a card from the Divine Feminine Oracle, and the card you got is the Mother of God, Mary of Nazareth. And the affirmation here is, I am blessed. My courage gives birth to the divine. So this is it. It's saying that you are in a position where you can break those chains, that you can come out of this dynamic, that you don't have to fall victim to the same karmic patterns, the same weaknesses, the same ways of doing things, traditions that are actually not beneficial to your overall happiness and quality of life, right? You have everything it takes to break out of it and move towards, you know, a higher vibration, okay? And you're also supported within that. That's also important to be aware of as well. Awesome. Okay, let's keep it moving. So let's see what the tarot has to say. So far, it feels very cut and dry, very clear cut, that you have an opportunity here to break ancestral karma. And that's, I feel like this shift that will take place for you, if it's not already begun, is going to lead you down a new path. But it does require you doing the work, okay? It's not something that will just happen if you're not actively participating in, you know, rewriting ancestral patterns, okay? So, interesting though. I do feel like addiction is a part of it, or there is, I don't know, some kind of behavioral pattern as well that's very toxic. But I feel like you are trying to break out of that. Yeah, that's the death card there, definitely. But for some of you, it could be related to some kind of addiction as well. Could be substances, could be just about anything. So take it however it resonates. If it does, if it doesn't, then this might be your message. You can look at your Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus placements, as I said. So feel free to check out one of the other videos that are relevant to those placements for you, okay? So, first card you have from the tarot is the Knight of Wands. Fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I believe this is specifically associated with Leo energy. But regardless, I feel like, yeah, this is pretty much you in your element, right? Going passionately towards things that bring you, I wouldn't say emotional fulfillment by any means. I would say pleasure. So this, again, this could be coming back to certain addictions. You could have a sex addiction, or you could have a substance addiction. Something like that. It's something that brings a lot of pleasure into your life, that makes you feel revved up, that really just gives you that dopamine fix, right? But you know isn't actually in your best interest. There's a repetitiveness to this. So again, it does feel like an addiction, something you keep going back to over and over and over, even though you know it doesn't actually bring you true fulfillment. So that's something that does truly need addressing. The next card you have is the Page of Wands, okay? So yeah, this is you needing to take a new approach, and taking the initiative and taking a new approach, because the old way of doing things, we can see, doesn't yield new results. So in order to get new results, in order to actually create real positive change, you have to change within and act accordingly, do things differently, right? This is you learning what needs to be done in order to break out of these patterns, right? So this could be you taking the initiative, i.e. if it's a substance addiction that you have, checking yourself into rehab. If it's sex addiction or something related to some trauma-based event, going to therapy. Things like that, right? Taking the initiative. You may be very creative as well, Leo, because being a fire sign, generally you guys are very, very creative. So it could be that you're also using a creative outlet to express how you feel, and the need to get help, or the need to just change your life essentially in one shape or form, right? So you could be using a creative outlet as a means of therapy as well. The next card you have is the Death card, Scorpio energy. Could be dealing with a Scorpio or have it in your chart. Again, I feel like this is the end. This is you, cutting it out, cutting out the addiction, cutting out old ways of doing things. I feel like this is you literally killing the ancestral karma, right? So that the souls of your ancestors can rest easily, right? So that you can be at peace, so that your family, and especially the future generations, will not be affected by these same, repetitive situations, right? That just keep you locked in and prevent you from being able to really expand, right? And then you have a lot of support in that as well. So I feel like if you feel it gets a bit heavy or you need that assistance, don't be afraid to reach out. It's available to you, okay? And I feel like you are going through kind of a death rebirth situation, but you're still very much in the midst of dealing with whatever this, behavioral and thought pattern is that keeps you locked into certain addictive behaviors, right? Now, the next card you have is the Empress in reverse. So this is Taurus energy, also associated with Libra. So that could be relevant to you. The Empress is in reverse though. So yeah, this is a need to address where you may be getting into codependent relationships or leaning too heavily on family ties. But in more so, I feel like in more cases, this is about where you have a crutch of some sort that could be, like I said, some in the shape of some kind of addiction, right? You use it as a crutch to prop yourself up on and make yourself feel good. But that doesn't actually deal with the issue at hand, as you know. So you're recognizing the need to actually, deal with this head on so that you can actually start taking steps, measures, taking action that's going to yield actual change in your life. Also bring positive, changes into your life. Next card you have is the King of Swords in reverse. This is air energy, specifically associated with Aquarius. So that could be relevant to you. Especially if, okay, I got a message here. I feel like someone, or maybe even more than one person, lost a parent, possibly a father or a father figure. And I feel like that in itself was a key trigger here in wanting to change things, right? Because perhaps you lost a parent to substance abuse. If that is the case, I am truly sorry that you experienced that, and I'm sorry for your loss. It's never easy to go through the loss of a parent, so my thoughts are with you as well as my heart. It's important to be aware of as well that I feel this is what could be the very thing that triggers you into going into action and really cutting out whatever needs to be cut out, right? So even though something horrible happened, you can draw a positive out from it, at least, by healing yourself, by not following possibly the same footsteps. If there was some kind of addiction involved in that situation, I don't know, just take it however it resonates if that applies, okay? Don't force it to your situation, obviously. But yeah, otherwise for others of you, I feel like it's a case of, that no one else can do this for you, right? No one else can do this for you. You have to take the initiative. You have to put the work in. And I think you know that, right? So rather than making excuses then like you perhaps did in the past, you are now taking responsibility and taking an initiative, which is great. And then the last card you have here is the King of Pentacles in reverse. So that's earth energy, specifically associated with Taurus. So some of you could have Taurus in your chart. You could have a significant family member, possibly a family member that's passed that has Taurus in their chart prominently or was a Taurus sun sign. But regardless, I feel like this is about needing to ground oneself, create stability, right? Because you haven't had that, right? You haven't really, Leo. And I feel like that's where perhaps you are compensating for that instability in your life through, hedonistic tendencies that you may have had, right? As a means of patching, your wounds over, or, glazing over the fact that you don't have this stability, that you don't have that rock in your life, that foundation, the cornerstone that is needed in order to build up from, right? So you may have never had a father figure in your life, and that has been very tough for you. Or otherwise, it could be just that you need to address where you kind of throw caution to the wind, throw wind to caution. Sorry, getting confused now. And just engaging in behaviors that are actually very risky, okay? So it's important to be aware of that, because now you're being called to form a sense of stability in your life. So let's go into the clarifications now and see what else we can find out for you. But again, I feel like there is recognition here. While I don't feel that you've really taken significant strides yet with regards to this aspect, okay? I feel like there is recognition, and you have put some work into this. You are taking the initiative. Like I said, I see you doing something that's going to be beneficial, that's going to help you overcome whatever this challenge is, whatever this addiction is, or possibly an obsession or a compulsive behavior, right? It could be any of those things. So I see the first steps of you conquering this, essentially, which is great. So clarifying the Knight of Wands here. You have the Moon card, so Pisces energy. I also associate it with Cancer. And you have the Seven of Swords, okay? Air energy, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Yeah, there's still a tendency to self-sabotage. And you think that, by perhaps lying, deceiving people, those that care about you, those that are trying to help you or trying to get you to see the truth about what it is that you do, how you self-sabotage, by thinking that you can pull the wool over our eyes or find a way to, evade their prying eyes or their questions or interrogation or whatever you feel like it is. You feel like you're getting away with it and you can go and have fun and do whatever you want. But the reality is you're only going to set yourself up for failure once again, right? This is a perpetual cycle. And I don't think you realize just how much you have been self-sabotaging in the past, right? Or trying to avoid dealing with certain painful truths, or avoid dealing with the true issue at hand, i.e. these generational curses or ancestral karma that you've been carrying. Okay. Clarifying the Page of Wands here. You have the Fool card in reverse, and you have the Seven of Pentacles, okay? So I feel like in this case, the Fool card is Aries energy, by the way. So that could be, significant to you. But I feel like it's a case of, you have to take this initiative. You have to think it through, of course. You want to make sure that you take the right course of action towards getting the help you need, or, doing something about this addiction, this obsession, or these compulsive behaviors that you have, whatever it is. And I feel like like I said, you've already started this process. You're already wanting to create certain changes. But I feel like most of the work that you've been putting into yourself has been more about the material, more about your finances, your career, your home life, things like that, rather than within. So now that's being called into view, because it's like you've accomplished certain tasks, right? You've overcome certain hurdles. You're now starting to reap the benefits of certain changes, positive changes that you've made. However, you feel like it's not really meeting your expectation. You feel like there's more to be gained here, and you can only really accomplish that by, clearing out this karma, right? This ancestral karma, and by dealing with whatever is represented in the devil for you. Whatever toxicity needs to be healed and removed from your life. Clarifying the Death card here. You have the Three of Swords, and you have the Nine of Pentacles. Oops, my bad, I didn't mean to hit the light. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so there's definitely an ending here. You cutting out ancestral karma. I feel like there may be a tendency for people in your family to betray one another, right? In order to meet certain ends, right? In order to, I don't know, overcome certain challenges of their own, right? So self-serving energy. But in this case, for you specifically, Leo, I feel like it's more about, you know, these habits and this programming that you had from a young age leads to you always getting hurt or being the one that hurts others, you know, with possibly promiscuous behavior here, right? But I feel like you don't want that, okay, for yourself. You don't want to experience that pain, because even if you're the one that leaves every relationship or connection or goes off cheating constantly or whatever it is, right? Even if you do any of that on any level, I feel like it causes you a lot of pain as well. It's not bringing you happiness. You don't want this. It's just something that you do as a means of masking your pain, because you don't want to be too emotionally invested in any situation, because, i.e., you get hurt because of these patterns, right? But you don't want to be alone anymore. You don't want to be alone and facing these, you know, painful situations anymore. And I feel like that's why your understanding is absolutely necessary, that you bring an end to all of that, right? Whatever you do that's detrimental, you're wanting to cut that out entirely, which is great. Because you don't want to end up isolated, you know. The next card you have, clarifying the Empress here, you have the Seven of Wands and you have the Devil, so Capricorn energy. You could have Capricorn in your chart possibly, but either way, I feel like this is you, you know, recognizing where you've had a crutch, where you've been relying on, you know, something detrimental to your true well-being for way too long, understanding that unless you free yourself, this will never change, okay? So that's what you're doing. I see you standing up to your own shadow, essentially, right? I see you kicking it back in its rightful place, back into alignment with your higher self and your ego, right? And that's what you're doing. You're understanding that you can't, you know, you can't be codependent anymore, or you can't rely on certain vices, addictions. You can't act in a certain way. You can't, you know, keep perpetuating these dark thoughts, you know, because all it does is bring you down even further, you know, it just draws you down the spiral even more, right? That deep, dark descent of despair. So you're not doing that anymore. You're starting to stand up against that energy, which is awesome. Next card you have, clarifying the King of Swords in reverse, is the Four of Swords, air energy, and the Three of Pentacles, earth. Yeah, so this is it. There's definitely healing needing to take place here, especially if you were someone that lost a parent very young or very recently. I feel like that wound created a significant rift within yourself. So of course, you're having to heal that. You're recognizing the need to heal this loss that you feel. And I feel like there is support available to you at this time while you do that, you know. Possibly from a parent, possibly from other family members, friends, right? Or people, possibly even a support group. If you're going through some kind of therapy, there could be a support group or some kind of spiritual group that can help you with your healing process. They'll just be there to give you that additional support while you do this healing, right? As well as obviously getting professional help or advice, possibly from a counselor, from a psychotherapist, a psychiatrist, you know, whatever the situation may be. For others of you, it's a case of, you know that you need to put the work in, but you also need to be aware of that you have that support available to you, because you may not realize it, okay? And then finally, clarifying the King of Pentacles in reverse. You have the King of Pentacles in the upright, which is very interesting. Some more Taurus energy. The Two of Swords, air, and the Four of Wands, fire. Interesting. So like I said, you don't want to sabotage, especially when it comes to relationships. You certainly don't want to sabotage anymore, because you are looking for a stable commitment. you're getting to that point in your life where you're like, okay, I'm done playing the field, I'm done doing this, that, and the other. I really want to start thinking about the long term. I want to think about my future, right? So I feel like you're kind of choosing, you're coming to this space where you know you need to make that choice to either continue as you are or to keep putting the work into yourself, so you get to the point where you are in that King of Pentacles energy, right? And this is just the masculine energy. This is not about gender. So don't get caught up on the fact that it's a king rather a queen or whatever. This is about being very grounded, very loyal, dependable, countable, you know, responsible, very secure, stable, right? Very abundant. So that's essentially what you want, right? That's what you want for yourself, but you're not sure whether or not you can do it because you feel like you're not quite sure how to get there, right? But again, you do have support available to you. There's also divine assistance available to you. If you have the courage and the will to transform your life, you will certainly do it, right? It's there for you. It's just a case of, do you have the will to overcome these patterns? Because this is not something small. This is something that you've you know, been perpetuating your entire life, essentially, because of the programming you experienced at a young age, because of the experiences you have, because of, you know, the family dynamics and all the rest of it. So something to be aware of. But I do see you having the ability to overcome this for sure, okay? You can overcome this, Leo. So I really hope this helps. I know this one was a bit heavier than the other readings, but obviously it was necessary. Someone out there needed to hear this. So I really do hope that it helps whoever needed this message. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And don't forget to hit the notifications bell. And yeah, just take it one step at a time. But don't be afraid to reach out for help where needed, okay? So sending you guys lots of love, encouragement, and support. And I will speak to you soon. Bye.